And yes, by the way, the platform is up and all the recordings are in there. Thanks a lot to all the person doing the recording. So first of all, I would like to thank a different set of translators tonight. The Chinese translator will be Jensen. You can see the handsome guy here with the white coat. And then Vietnamese will be Miss Khoi. How come I don't see her? Oh yeah, okay, on my top left, right? And then for Indonesia is Emily now, and then Rini will continue later, all right? So today is class 5 and 6. So let's recap. Class 1 is talking about our lineage, the teachers, the lineage. Our teachers along the lineage, their story. And then class 2, we talk about the why learn the 3 principal paths. And then class 3, we learn about the teacher, how to take a teacher, how to choose your teacher properly. And then class 4, we talk about the importance of authentic Dharma and how to become a good student. 5 and 6 will be on renunciation, the first path. 7 and 8 will be the second path on the bodhicitta. And then 9 and 10 will be the correct worldview, right? Yang dak tawa. All right, so let's start with prayer first. We have Mr. Choi today. Can you help to lead us with the prayer? All right, please start. Hold on, let me make it better.
Okay.
Hold on. Okay, yes.
Okay, start.
Yeah.
Sangshi Bugi Jungshe Mendo Dra Rira Lenshu Yen Gembati Sanghe Shendu Vite Guaji Rugun Namda Jinga Shubasho Idam Guru Namdaragam Yanyataya Mi Sanghe Chundam Chundam Nam Jangju Bandu Dani Shubashi Dagi Shunyen Sunam Dora Penshe Sanghe Tumbaso Sanghe Chundam Shoki Shunam Lam Changju Badu Pagni Shibashi Dagi Shunyen Sunamki Drola Penshe Sanghe Drupasho Sanghe Chundang Shunamla Changju Badu Dangi Bashuchi Dagi Shunyen Jipe Sunamki Drora Penshe Sanghe
Thank you. All right, let's go through the PowerPoint first, and then we will go to the reading. Yeah. So let me share. Okay, here we go. Yes. So we are going to talk about samsara and renunciation. So this should be N, samsara. And it's Geshe Michael's pet peeve when people put M, samsara. And some people read as samsara. It should be sansara, okay? So, and you must write with N, all right? It's a wrong transcription by the British people. And of course, only after understanding samsara, we can go to renunciation. So renunciation is called ngenjung, yeah, ngenjung. So when we combine, it sounds like ngenjung, right? So noted here, it is the misperception of the mind, taking external objects for our pleasure or pain. So we should be free from all cravings to have eternal inner happiness, right? Again, this is referring to the bad habits again. So there are going to be 3 topics: why you need renunciation, how to develop, and how do we know that we have succeeded in having renunciation. So first we talk about why we need renunciation. We need to understand that we are living in this wheel of life, or we call it wheel of suffering. Wheel of suffering, because inside this wheel, it is basically suffering, right? And inside this wheel, we typically say there are 3 realms: the desire realms, the form realms, and the formless realm, right? And then we like to say desire realm consists of the 6, we call them realms also, 6 worlds, 6 realms, lower 3 and upper 3. Lower 3 consists of the hell, animal, hell, ghost, spirit, hungry spirit, and animal. Upper 3 will be the human, and then the demigod or semi-pleasure and pleasure, right? And of course, we call them pleasure. And this pleasure normally includes the form and formless realm also, because they are living in pleasure as well. And the reason why we are trapped inside this circle, this wheel, this samsara, is because we are forced by karma and negative emotions. Karma and negative emotion. Sometimes we call it karnak. In mixed nuts, we call it karnak. Karma and negative emotion. Yeah. Yeah. The Tibetan is called le nyun. Yeah, le and nyun mong, le dang nyun mong, le nyun. So sometimes we call it le nyun. So in English, we just coin this term karnak, right? So we are forced by those 2, so that we have to repeat our birth and death over and over again. Yeah. So that is the meaning of samsara. And we also learn that we don't want to be inside the wheel. We don't want to be in the desire realm. We don't want to end up in the form realm and formless realms. Because although we are in the pleasure world, like the God's realm, and then the formless and form and formless, we are basically using up our good seeds, and there is no chance for us to clear our bad seeds. So when our good seeds are depleted, maybe we live 10,000 years there, maybe we live 100,000 years there, but the moment the good seeds are used up, only bad seeds left, and definitely based on the bad seeds, we will fall down, and we will fall down quite badly. So we don't want to end up in those even so-called pleasure realms. And some people has a misconception that those pleasure realms are heaven. So they want to go to the heaven. So be careful with what we wish for, right? Because yes, those are pleasure realms. They seem to be very pleasurable, very fun, very interesting. But at the end of the day, when our good seeds are depleted and we are only left with bad seeds, the result will be quite bad. And then we don't know how long we will be in the lower realms, right? So this is why we don't want to end up there. And of course, there are many practices that will bring us to those pleasure realms, no doubt. Yeah, no doubt. We can be very nice to everybody. without correct understanding, we will end up in pleasure realms. Yeah. So just some people say, I just have to be nice to everybody. You know, why should I learn all these difficult things? Why should I learn all these difficult things? Why should I spend times with all these things that make my head pain, headache? Why do I have to remember all these facts? Why do I have to listen to all these Tibetan terms, Sanskrit terms? You know, all these are foreign language to me. I just be nice to everybody, and I will be able to go to a better place. But yes, those are pleasure realms, and those are not our destination, because if you don't equip yourself with proper understanding, those are impermanent. Those are impermanent, all right? So it's important for us to learn all this knowledge. And remember the two wings, right? The method, which is the be nice to others, and then the wisdom, which is the knowledge. Only when you have two wings working properly, then you can soar like an eagle high above the sky. If you only have one wing, you know, imagine bird with one wing, it can't go too far, it will fall down. All right, so how do we get out of samsara? We are trapped in samsara and trying to escape, but stuck in it all the time, driven by karma and negative emotions. Yeah, should be karmic. Our instinctive reaction to events, the wrong worldview, is the karma that leads to downward spiral in samsara. So we must feel tired of this samsara and realize that everything in the world is suffering before we can break free from the samsara. Now, feel tired here means what? Don't ever tell people, you know, I learned in ACI that I have to hate this life because this life is suffering. I don't want to be in this. I don't want to live in this samsara world. Yeah. And because of that, I need to practice. I need to renounce renunciation. I need to renounce my work. I need to renounce my job. I need to renounce my family. Never say that. Nobody asks you to do all those things, okay? Nobody. What it means here, feel tired of samsara, is that I am so tired of this life of uncertainty without knowing of the seed system. Remember, everything goes back to the seed system. So when I feel tired means I am tired of not using the seed system. If you have already learned it. If you have not learned it, I feel tired of this life because I don't even know that seed system exists. Yeah, so this is the meaning of tired. We are going to go very deep into this later. Okay, now, so why do we need renunciation? Basically, yes, we are sick of this life of uncertainty without the seed system, without knowing the seed system, and that is for ourselves. And then when we can expand this to other beings, then it will become bodhicitta, right? And how do we want to escape? Yeah, if we don't feel the suffering. So first of all, in order to know that we need to escape, we need to know that this is suffering. Yeah, it's uncertainty. So in order to, if we want to practice this bodhicitta, we must first live. We must first have this desire to live. Yeah. All right. So, okay, now let's go through here. Now, how do we develop renunciation? And there are two parts. To develop renunciation, or the wording is gone. Yeah, there are two parts. Stop the desire for this life and stop the desire for the next life. In class 5, we are talking about stop the desire for this life. In class 6, we are talking about stop the desire for the next life. All right. So there are two ways we can use to stop the desire for this life. The difficulty of having a life of leisure and fortune, or in short, we call it leisure and fortune. 8 leisures and 10 fortunes. We are going to talk about these two later when we go to the root text, to the reading, right? And then the second way is the impermanence impermanence, the death, or sometimes we call it death meditation. We are going to cover this also in the reading. Okay, it's very beautiful. Okay, now, beside that, we also need to understand that we want to stop attachment to this life by understanding, by not falling into these 8 worldly things. Happy when we get what we want, and unhappy when we don't get. Feeling good, yeah, happy when we feel good, unhappy when we feel bad. Happy when we are well known, unhappy when we are defamed. Happy when we are praised, and unhappy when we are ridiculed. So this is what we call the 8 worldly things, and we need to stop attachment to this in this life. Okay, so this is basically a short summary of the class 5. Now let's go to the text, the reading. Today's reading is a lot. My apology to all the translators. I don't know how many ACI teacher asked you to read the reading. I know Jebila, my teacher Jebila, told us, please read, you know. And I also don't know how many people really go and read the reading, but it's very beautiful. Ivo told me, oh, thank you, teacher. Because of you, I started reading the text, the reading, and I believe you find it beautiful, right? Okay, now let's go through. So reading 5 is encouragement to study. And let's read this together. Listen with a pure mind, fortunate ones, who have no cravings for the pleasures of life, this life and next life, right? And who, to make leisure and fortune meaningful, strive to turn their minds to the path which pleases the victors. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, this is the text for the student, a good student. Yeah, we call someone a proper vessel for study. This is a code word for student, right? A proper vessel for study. So we must be unbiased. Unbiased meaning that we maintain the neutrality, and then we must be intelligent spiritually. In fact, if you remember from DCI level 8, right? This is basically karmic intelligence, KI. I think now they changed name, you know, the policy 0.0% is not karmic intelligence, but they call it SITS intelligence, right? And they're willing to strive, willing to work hard. Yeah. So we discussed about this yesterday. So now we talk about the verse, okay? Renunciation means those who have no craving for the pleasures of life, right? Okay, let's go through. This is a very long text. So the first, we go into in the root text, we go into the first path, which is renunciation. And first we start with why do we need renunciation? Verse 3, there is no way to end without pure renunciation. This striving for pleasant results in the ocean of life. It's because of their hankering life as well that beings are fettered, so seek renunciation first. So now for all of us to escape from this cycle of life, this wheel of suffering, we have to want to escape first, right? So we need to, first we understand that this is a suffering wheel. And because of that, we need to want to escape. I don't want to suffer anymore. Because if we never develop the wish to get out, and we get attached to the good things of this circle of life, seemingly good, yeah, we call it the suffering of change, then there will never be any way to escape. So if we are attached to the deceptive good things in this life, then we will never have the wish to get out. Then it is no point, right? Like somebody in a prison. First, the person need to know that he or she is in the prison. And then after he or she know that, after they know that they are in the prison, they need to have the wish to get out of the prison. So there are two ways, right? First, if you don't know that you're in the prison, of course you will be forever inside. And then after you know that you are in the prison, you need to have the want to go out. Some prisoners, although they know that they are in the prison, they don't have the wish to go out, then they will never go out. Yeah. As strange as it may sound, but yeah, there are people who are in the prisons and don't want to go out. But not for us, right? We know that this is the life that is having problem, giving us a lot of problem, and we want to get out, right? So here first we have to understand just how we spin around in this life circle. We are circling in this samsara. So the cycle of life is defined as taking on again and again the impure groups of things that make up a normal suffering being. Yeah. So impure groups of things. In fact, any things that we have inside the will is considered impure. Impure means they are going to chain us to this will. Yeah, that's why it is unbroken stream from life to life. What is it that chains us to this cycle? It's our own deeds and bad thoughts. And to what exactly are we chained? To those impure parts of our being. Yeah, so deeds and bad thoughts. Bad deeds and bad thoughts. All those are the chain that chain us to these impure parts of our being. This body is the what do you call that? The place that you are changed to, right? All right, so let's continue. So the point here is that to develop, yeah, so first, after we understand the renunciation, then to develop the wish for bodhicitta, which is to achieve enlightenment for all living beings, yeah, we must first develop the kind of compassion where you can no longer bear to see those beings tormented by the sufferings of life. So meaning that to develop this renunciation for others, we must first develop renunciation for our own situation. And how to develop this renunciation? Yeah, there are two steps. First, to stop the desire for present life, and then to stop the desire for future lives. Okay, so there are two steps here. And there are two parts. There are two ways each. Yeah? There are two ways to stop the desire for present life, and there are two ways to stop the desire for future life. So for present life, basically leisure and fortune, yeah, we need to realize that leisure and fortune are hard to find because life is not long. Oh, sorry. And then the second way is understand about death and the impermanence of this life. So to stop the desire for the present life, we need to reflect on leisure and fortune, which are hard to find, and then to understand that life is not long. Think it constantly, stop the desire for this life, right? So how do we stop that? Yes, so there are two steps. The first is the life of leisure and fortune, yeah, and the difficulty of finding it. And then second is our permanence, the fact that we must die. So a lot of repetition here. A lot of repetition here, right? These are some reference to that, right? Seer, well, seer basically a kadampa, right? The kadampa geshe. Kadampa geshe, the seer. Sang na chung tonpa. I go to Lord Atisha and ask him for teaching. Oh yeah, by the way, Lord Atisha, when he started teaching, his group was known as Kadampa, right? Kadampa. So I go to Lord Atisha and ask him for teaching. And all he says to me is some little sentence like, give up on this life, or practice love, practice compassion, or practice the wish to achieve enlightenment for all living beings. Yeah. So, okay, we understand the meaning of practice love. We understand the meaning of practice compassion. We understand the meaning of practice the wish to achieve enlightenment for all living beings, or practice bodhicitta. Give up on this life doesn't mean to ask you to go and commit suicide, okay? Oh yeah, I don't know. I heard the young policeman that committed suicide in Singapore yesterday morning happened to be my mom's friend's relative. So sad, 29 years old only. He shot twice to the air, and then the last one shot his own head, bang, died. So it doesn't mean this way, please. Okay, never read this literally. Give up on this life means give up on this uncertain life without the knowledge of the seed system and how to create our own future. Okay, so give up on that kind of life. That means learn the seed system. Learn the seed system and apply it in your life. In a broad sense, we can start with what are known as the 8 worldly thoughts. We talk about that, right? And then these then can be shortened into 3 concerns of this life: food, clothes, and big name. These 3 are what you have to give up. Give up means, again, it doesn't mean that you don't have to eat, you don't have to wear clothes, okay, please. You go out without your clothes on, police stop you. Hey, no, my teacher told me give up on clothes. That's not true, okay? That's not true. Never do that. Give up on food and clothes means give up on the thinking that food and clothes only come because people want to give you or because you have the money, all right? Instead, think of food and clothes coming to you because you have the seeds. And well, they say that the worst of the 3, by the way, is big name, fame. Yeah, big name. So this is the worst. And then here the stories about those masters, about the holy beings, holy masters, you know, they practice, they give up on food, they give up on clothes, but they don't give up on big name. They still want people to know their name. They still want people to recognize their name. So 8 worldly thoughts, again, we already covered. Being happy when we have something, unhappy when we don't. Being happy when we feel good, unhappy when we don't. Being happy when we are well known, when we have big name, unhappy when we don't. Being happy when people praise us, and unhappy when we don't, right? Right. So, okay, 10 ultimate riches. Okay, so if a person fails to stand free of the 8 worldly thoughts for this life, those 8 that we just discussed, the person will find it hard even to shut the doors to a birth in the realms of misery, much less do something that's a spiritual practice. So to have a spiritual practice, we must avoid the 8 worldly thoughts. To do such practice, you must take up the instruction called the 10 ultimate riches, a teaching of the masters called the seers of the world, for quelling the 8 worldly thoughts and giving up on this life. What are the 8 ultimate riches? The 4 aims, the 3 diamonds, the 3 of being thrown out and reaching and attaining. Okay, now let's read together. This is scary, okay? Aiming your mind ultimately to practice, aiming your practice ultimately to the beggar, aiming the beggar ultimately to death, aiming death ultimately to some dusty ravine. Okay. Okay, don't jump to conclusion yet. Okay, I'm going to explain. Okay, the second one, the 3 diamonds, sending the uncatchable diamond ahead of you, laying the unabashable diamond behind you, keeping the wisdom diamond at your side. And then the 3 others, being thrown out from the ranks of man, reaching the ranks of dogs, attaining the ranks of the gods. What do they mean? Oh, teachers, this is so scary. I don't want to live this kind of life. Can I stop now? Can I quit now? Too late, you are in here. No. Okay. Okay, please listen carefully. This is very important. I don't want you to understand wrongly and go out and tell everybody all this literally, okay? Now I'm going to show you my notes. I'm going to show you my notes. Very important when we learn Dharma is not to read the literal, is not to read them literally. We need to understand what is hidden inside. What does it mean figuratively? Okay. There are many misunderstandings even in our DCI world, people who learn ACI and started to dislike DCI and started to tell DCI people all these funny things. Hey, you want spiritual life? You have to live like a dog, Get away from the man, from the people. Wrong. Okay, let's go through one by one. Aiming your mind ultimately to practice means practice what we learn, which is the seed system. This is easy, right? Aiming your practice ultimately to the beggar. That means understand that all things only come from seeds and nothing else. Live like a beggar means we don't own things that come from its own sides. Okay? Beggar doesn't own anything. So we have to live like a beggar means we have to live life with things, without things that come from their own sides. So we have to understand that all things that we have now only come from seeds and nothing else. Aiming the beggar ultimately to death means start practicing quickly as time is short and uncertain. All right? And aiming death ultimately through some dusty ravine means detach from the desire for fame or big name. Okay? So when we are doing our practice, detach, don't have the desire for fame. Yeah, I want to teach ACI, so people will call me teacher. That's wrong, okay? That's wrong, all right? So detach from the fame. I want to become DCI teacher, so people know me. Wow, Sugeng is a DCI teacher. That's wrong, okay? Okay, now what about the 3 diamonds? Sending the uncatchable diamond ahead of you. Meaning what? Have a firm, unstoppable determination to practice. Yeah, meaning that it has to be unstoppable, our determination to practice no matter what happens. No matter how busy you are, we need to be determined to practice. Laying the unabashable diamond, unabashable means shameful, shameful, shameless, or whatever, diamond behind you. Ignore others who put you down on the practice. Don't listen to people who are mocking at you. You go out to travel, you bring your yoga mat. Are you sure you are doing yoga every day? I know bringing yoga mat is troublesome, right? But ignore others, okay? And I got time to do meditation. Your flight is early in the morning. Still wake up earlier and do your meditation, okay? Keep the wisdom diamond at your side, meaning that remember the emptiness of things all the time, all right? Okay, the 3 of others, being thrown out from the ranks of men. I think this is big enough, right? Okay, let me make it even bigger. I'm sorry. Okay, big enough, right? Maybe make it bigger some more, okay? Okay, being thrown out from the ranks of men, meaning never mingle with those who don't believe in the seed system. Okay. Oh, when Sui says she can see, I feel good. Thank you. So never mingle too much with those who don't believe in the seed system, Reaching the ranks of dogs. These also the same. Understand that nothing, including your food, clothes, housing, etc., comes from its own side. Yeah, remember the pen and the puppy? The pen and the chew toy, Meaning that we understand that if our seeds change any time, maybe now you are looking at a pen, but when my seed changed now, suddenly, maybe the pen will change into a chew toy. Yeah, at that moment, maybe I don't realize it, but I become a dog. So understand that nothing comes from its own side. And finally, attaining the ranks of the gods. Join the seed system practitioners. Yeah, join the group of the seed system practitioners. All right, that is what it means. Okay, now you understand. Huh? Don't go and tell everybody I need to live like a dog. I don't feel like practicing. Okay. All right, let's continue. So be careful, right? All these texts are written by, or rather, this text was taught by Pabongka Rinpoche in the year 1920. Oh, sorry. This is the commentary by Pabongka Rinpoche to Je Tsongkhapa's root text. And it is at least close to 100 years old. So the situation then and the situation now are very different. So we should not read this literally, because you will go to a wrong understanding and it will create a lot of trouble for a lot of people. Okay. In fact, it has created trouble for some students in European countries. Okay. And I was so shocked when I heard about that. Never do that. Okay. Promise me. Okay. All of you here, you are in my class, so you should not be the one saying the wrong thing to the wrong people. Okay, so there are a lot of examples here, but I think enough. I'm going to send my text to the group later, so you have a. Oh yeah, I'm going to put it up in the Moodle, so you have a understanding, right? So the all-knowing Lord Tsongkhapa has said himself, the body of leisures is more valuable than a jewel that gives any wish. Yeah, why? Why? Okay, come tell me. Maybe you can type or can say, why is this body of leisure is more valuable than a jewel and than a wish-giving jewel? What do you call it? Man Yuan Bao. Wow, Man Yuan Bao, wish-giving jewel. Why is this body of leisure more valuable than Man Yuan Bao, wish-giving jewel? Why? We can plan it. Okay, that's a good one, Mr. Choi. Any other answer? Yes, definitely we can plant seeds, right? But any other thing? We can attain Buddhahood. Okay, yes, this body. We can help ourselves. Okay, I want you to think about the wish-giving jewel. Okay, all of you focus on the body, okay, which is very good. What about the wish-giving jewel? What could potentially be the issue with wish-giving jewel? What could be a problem with the wish-giving jewel? Yes, only this body can learn Dharma, correct? But what could be the problem with the wish-giving jewel? Yes, all of you focus on the body, which is very good, okay? But what could be the problem with the wish-giving jewel? I'm not keeping the virtue. Because wish-giving jewel means it will give you all the wish that you want to have. Okay, so your wish will be fulfilled. But what could be the problem? What could be the problem with that? With getting jewel easily, we won't learn where the jewel come from. Okay, good try. If you, yes, correct, Mr. Choi. Oh, close. If you don't know what is a correct worldview, you can ask the right thing. Actually, we don't even know what we want. Yes, correct. The wish-giving jewel can only give what we want. The problem is we don't even know what we want. So that is the danger. Yeah, that is the danger. We don't even know what we want. Therefore, and then all your answer about the body is correct here, right? Only with this body, we can plant seeds, we can attain Buddhahood, we can help others, we can learn Dharma, we can keep virtues. All right? All right, thank you. So I want all of you to really understand that why this body is more important than wish-giving jewel is because we don't even know what we want. All right? Even if we know what we want, it is most probably be impure, contaminated with impure motivation. All right. And now is the only time you will ever find a one like this body, right? It's hard to find and easily dies like lightning in the sky. Okay. This body is so difficult to get into and it dies easily anytime. Think this over carefully and come to realize that every action of the world is like the chaff of grain. It's like a grain. It will just go away. And so you must strive night and day to make the most of this life. So make full use of this life. Make full use of this life means don't abuse your body. Don't abuse your body by sleeping at 3 a.m. Somebody just told me he slept at 3 a.m. Okay. So don't abuse the body. Okay. Take care of your body. This is very precious. And then makes full use of this body to learn Dharma. Like what Chacha said, right? Makes full use of this body to plant all the seeds and to help others. And finally, to attain Buddhahood. All right. I, J. Tsongkhapa, the master meditator, put this into practice. You who seek for freedom must conduct yourself this way too. So this is a message for all of us, okay? So we must gain two different realizations. First, how valuable and hard to find one's life of leisure and fortune. And secondly, our own impermanence and the fact that we must die. It is not enough for this realization to come to us from outside. You know, just sitting and listening to someone telling you about them is not enough. All those things must come from inside. You must contemplate on it, right? You must think about them yourself. Then they will be firm in your mind and never change again. In the Tibetan style of learning, we have this Wen Si Xiu, you know, in Chinese. Listen, contemplate, and meditate. Yeah. Tu Sam Gom, Tu Sam Gom. Listen to the teaching, contemplate, think of it yourself, and then meditate. And this meditate has a dual meaning. Gom has dual meaning. Tu Sam Gom. Gom has a, well, in Chinese we call it Xiu. Xiu, basically, besides meditating on it, you also need to practice it. Practice it. Yeah. All right. This body we live in gives us in our own, this body we live in gives us in our own two hands the ability to achieve everything from good things in our next life on up to the state of Buddhahood itself, and thus is incredibly valuable. Yeah, somebody say, right? Yeah, Gekling said, we can attain Buddhahood with this body, only with this body, okay, not other body. So this is very precious. Such a body and life are difficult to find from 3 points of view. Okay, what are the 3 points of view? The first one, the causal viewpoint. The causal viewpoint says that this life of leisure and fortune is hard to find because it is a specific result of the special causes that can bring leisure and fortune, and those causes are extremely rare, which are what? We can gain this human body through the causes by keeping our moral life completely pure. This refers to our virtues. So all of us have this human body, means in our past lives, we must have been keeping our virtues pure and clean. So congratulations, all the humans here. You have the human body because you have been keeping your morality pure, all right? So generally speaking, there are fewer beings in the happier realms than there are in the realms of misery, okay? Happier realms means the human realms all the way to the formless realm. Realms of misery refers to the 3 lower realms. Of all those in the happy realms, yeah, humans are the fewest. Most of them are in God's realm. God's realm, pleasure beings realm. Yeah? And of all the different human beings, those who live in the world we know are the fewest in this world, in this earth. There are many other worlds. There are many human beings in other worlds, but those in our world are the fewest. And of all humans in our world, those who have attained leisure and fortune are very, very few. Okay, what are they? We are going to talk about that later, right? Those with 8 leisures and 10 fortunes are very, very few. Therefore, this life by nature is very hard to find. So there's the causal viewpoint. Second viewpoint is the classical example viewpoint. So this is the example of, we always talk about the ring, what we call it, the wheel. Lun Thai, what do you call that? Sorry, I forgot. Tire. Okay, the tire. Okay, like a tire on the, or what do you call that? What do you call that? In the swimming pool, so that people do not sink. I don't know what it's called. Whatever, just like a tire on the ocean, and then there is a giant turtle, a blind giant turtle. Float. Okay, a blind giant turtle on sightless, right? Only goes up once every 100 years, right? And when he goes up every 100 years, once every 100 years, his head happened to go into this center of the tire, golden ring. This is so rare. So the odds that we are born into this human body is nearly impossible, right? Yet we are in this body now. So all of us has beaten the odds of being born into this human body. That's why this is a very precious. Okay, that is the second one. What is the third one? Let me see. So the first one is the causal viewpoint. The second one is the classical viewpoint. And then, well, anyway, let's continue, right? The teachings of the Buddha pass now and again among the various planets of the universe. But here we are blinded by our ignorance. We are permanent, so we are permanent inhabitants of the deepest reaches within the ocean of cyclic life. So we are trapped in this wheel of suffering. So our human body, complete with leisure and fortune, is very difficult to find, and this time around we have it already. Yeah. So our life of leisure and fortune is incredibly valuable and difficult to find. Again, this is the first and last time we will ever have such a chance. Okay, this is the first and last time. If we miss this chance, some people say, "Ah, yeah, I'm old already," or rather, "I'm a failure in this life. Let me reset. You know, I don't know. When I was in Japan, you know, this is a mentality of the youth, or young people, or even old people. I want to reset my life. I'm a total failure now. Let me commit suicide and then I will restart. No chance, man. This is the last time you are born in this human body. No chance. You better make full use of this body of leisure and fortune. We must now make the greatest use we can of it. And of course, the single highest thing we can do with this life is to practice the greater way. What is the greater way? Basically, to have the wish to be enlightened for the sake of all living beings. We must begin this practice now, right now. Little time remains before the inevitable death comes to us. We must constantly bring our death to mind. Well, I mean, I don't ask you to be very negative, but remember this because we know that someday death will come. Yeah. But just sometimes remember about it is not enough to really keep your coming death to mind. You must train yourself meticulously in what it is to die. Okay. All right, let's go to the notes. Okay. We are coming to the end of this class. Normal suffering beings. So this is talking about beings with 5 hips. 5 hips. Geshe Michael called the 5 hips as the body and mind. Yeah. Okay, at least that's a good question. Okay, if this human body is rare and difficult, it's rare, it's the leisure and fortune is so rare, why the world birth rate is higher and higher? Of course, there are many beings who have kept good morality, and therefore they are born as they were born in human body. Yeah, so it's a good thing. It's a good thing, but this is still very rare for us. Yes, there are many. The birth rate is increasing, but those are for those beings, not for us. For us, this is very rare. All right, it's very rare for us individually, but it doesn't mean that there are what do you call it? There are lesser and lesser beings. There are many other beings outside the human realms. In fact, human is the least compared to beings in other realms, right? So the 5 hips basically are the physical form, number 1, number 2, feelings, number 3, ability to discriminate, number 4, remaining mental functions, and number 5, our consciousness. So this is normally known as the 5 hips, yeah. And hips means there are many components. So all these are basically impure because they are the products of, and also they promote bad thoughts and ignorant actions. Yeah, we can commit bad deeds because we have this body and mind. Yeah. Okay, lower nirvana. So here we in this text we differentiate between nirvana with lower n and capital N, nirvana with small letter and the capital letter. Small letter means nirvana of those beings without bodhicitta. Capital N means the nirvana with bodhicitta, right? Or Buddhahood, right? All right. Okay, and well, yeah, this is a quote from Lojong. Yeah, no practitioner, a person who loved this life. This is from Drogpa Gyaltsen. Yeah. So you are a practitioner if you stop the attachment to the love of this life. You will get renunciation when you understand that this world is not something desirable. You are bodhisattva if you stop our selfish interests. Yeah, and then you will have correct view if you don't grasp to the me. Yeah. So this is basically from the Lojong, and there are a lot of stories here. Okay, so please take time to read them. 8 ways. These are the 8 leisures. Okay, what are the 8 leisures or lacking of opportunity? We don't hold wrong views. These are to hold wrong views, such as the 8 leisure. Basically, we don't hold wrong views, right? We don't hold wrong views, meaning that we don't have the wrong worldview, and then we are not born in animal realm. We are not born in the hungry spirit realm. We are not born in the hell. So the first 3 are the first one is we don't have the wrong view, and then 2, 3, 4 are basically the 3 lower realms, and then 5 will be we are not born in the land where Buddha's teaching are not available. Number 5 is that we are not born in uncivilized land, meaning that people are not keeping the vows of morality, and we are not born as a human who has some issue, retarded or handicapped, so that we cannot practice the teachings, and we are not born as a long-lived being of pleasure in one of the temporary paradises. So this refers to the God's realms and the form and formless realms. Okay, and what are the 10 fortunes? Okay, what are the 10 fortunes? The 10 fortunes are divided into 2 groups of 5. The first 5 relates to ourselves. The second 5 relates to outside world. The first 5 is that we are born as a human. We are born in a central land, meaning that the place where people still practice the vow of morality. We are born with all our faculties intact, complete. We do not commit immediate misdeeds. The 5 immediate misdeeds: killing of father, mother, killing of arhats, yeah, and then schism, and then draw blood from the Buddha, right? And also we have faith in the teachings. That's why you are here. And the second 5 relates to those outside world. So we live in the world where Buddha has come 2,500 years ago. The Dharma is still being taught in our world. The teaching is not lost. People still practice them, and practitioners still receive the support they require. Yeah. So these are the 8 leisures and 10 fortunes. Okay. And now then we talk about the death meditation. So Pabongka Rinpoche gives us 6 benefits of doing the death meditation. In level 11 DCI, we talk about the death meditation a la Steve Jobs. All right, so the details are in there, right? So the 6 benefits. When we keep our thoughts on death meditation, our practice becomes really pure. We gain power, and the thoughts of death help us start our practice. Number 4, the thought helps us strive hard during the practice. That's number 3. Number 4, they help bring our practice to a successful conclusion. And finally, in the hour of death, we can go with satisfaction, knowing that we have spent our life meaningfully. So these are the 6 benefits of doing death meditation. How about the 6 problems? The 6 problems, right? We neglect our practice. Religious life here refers to our practice, and spend all day in thoughts of what to eat or what to wear. Very distractive. Second, we consider death occasionally and always think that it will come later and delay our practice. Practice here refers to the observing the virtues and of course the 3 big life tools, right? Meditation, yoga, and the book. Or we do our practice, but for the wrong reason, with the hopes of reputation, for example. Number 4, we practice, but with no enthusiasm and drop it after a while. Number 5, we get deeper into life. Our attitude becomes worse and life begins to hurt us. And finally, at the death, we feel intense regret because we have wasted all our efforts on this present life. Okay, now, death meditation, there are 3 principles with 3 components each, making them a 9 principles, right? The first one is that death is certain. The second principle is that we don't know when we will die. And the third one is that at the moment of death, nothing at all can help us but our spiritual practice or our sits. Okay, now when we talk about death is certain, right? No power in the universe can stop death when it arrives. Yeah, we cannot negotiate. Hey, give me some more time. I still need some more time to finish my project. Cannot. Okay. Yeah, I was just telling my wife this morning, you know, my father, before he passed on, he had many plans. He wants to do this, he wants to do that, you know, but little did he know, in less than 1 hour, he would have gone from this world. And I was just telling my wife, you know, I have a lot of plans. And then I remember, yeah, I tell you, I have a lot of plans, but I don't know when I will go. I can just plan, but when the time comes, I have to come. And then there is no way to add time to your life. You come closer to death every minute. Yeah, so we are sitting here for 1 hour already. If you're not learning anything that will help you in your life to plant all the good seeds, then basically we are wasting 1 hour of our time. Even while you are alive, the free time available for your practice is extremely limited before you have to die. So our time is very limited. Okay, the second principle is that there is absolutely no certainty when we will die. So we don't know when we will die. So the first sub-principle, we are in time and realm where the length of life is uncertain. We don't know when we will die. Some people live up to 90 over years old. Yeah, Queen Elizabeth II, she lived until what, 97, right? Yeah, 97. And then the young policeman that committed suicide only died at 29, you know. So we don't know. The length is uncertain. We can be sure we will never have enough time to defeat all our enemies, rise up all our friends, and still complete our practice before we die. We are not sure whether we have enough time. And finally, the things that can kill us are many. The things that keep us alive are few. People can die so easily, you know. You look at those road accidents. Yesterday, I think. Yeah, yesterday. An old man, I don't know. I don't know why lately I've been seeing all these accident news, you know. Somebody knocked off by this car, somebody, I don't know. I mean, I don't know, some pedestrians or something. I don't know. I mean, this life is so I mean, things that can kill us are so many. The third principle, at the moment of death, nothing at all can help us but our spiritual practice. The first one, none of our money or things can help us. You can have a lot of money, you can have a lot of possessions, but at the moment of death, you can't bring them all. I remember they used scissors to open up, to cut my father's trousers, shirts, you know. And then they returned us his watches, his wallet, his necklace, you know, his Guan Yin Pusa necklace, you know. I mean, all those things come back to me. I say, okay, now that he's gone, so for what? None of your friends or family can help you. They can be holding you tightly by the arms and leg, but you will still slip away alone. Yeah, and not even your own body can help you. The body that you have cherished the most, with all the skincare, supplements, nice food, nice glasses. Thank you, Jensen. This body that we make so beautiful, you know, it can't even help us. So that's why you have to plant all the seeds, right? So the three principles call for three resolves on our part. So knowing that we have to die, we must resolve to begin our practice. Knowing that we could die anytime, we have to start our practice today. And finally, since nothing else can help us, we must plant all the good seeds so that we can bring them together. Only seeds that we have, we can bring. In fact, yeah, we say bring, but actually we also don't bring. They will only create the future world for us. So, okay, I'm not going to read this, okay? This is page 125. This is the meditation. This is the death meditation by Pabongka Rinpoche, okay? This is death meditation by Pabongka Rinpoche. It's kind of interesting. You know, they throw all kind of treatments, holy rituals, blah, 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 blah. All right. So, okay. Yeah. Let's go to the homework question before we go for break. Okay. Nanti aja. Okay, let's go for homework. Okay, now define what is meant by cycle of life or samsara. So basically, this is the birth and death, on and on, due to karma and negative emotions, the karmic, right? So that is the cycle of life. Karma and negative emotion. Do you all realize we have been talking about karma and negative emotions? We learn a lot about karma in our DCI programs, but we don't really learn about negative emotions except level 6 and level 10. So do you all realize that level 6 is coming next month? So it's so precious. You know, this level 6 is so precious. Please ask around if you have not registered for level 6. Yeah, we are going to talk about how we can handle these negative emotions. Yeah. So DMO Wisdom we offer in English, and then Indonesia we also have. In Chinese, there are many organizers. So karma and negative emotions. We learn a lot about karma. but we don't really learn enough about negative emotions. So don't miss this chance, okay? All of you here. Why is renunciation necessary to escape the cycle of life? And what is the relationship between renunciation and the wish to achieve enlightenment for all beings? So why is renunciation necessary? Because only after we understand that this cycle of life, this wheel of life is suffering, is nothing beautiful, that we can then develop the feeling of wanting to get out. So that is achieved by renunciation, right? And what is the relationship between renunciation and the wish to achieve enlightenment for all beings? Renunciation means we don't want this kind of life for ourselves, and then the wish is for all beings. Two of the steps of the path are meant to stop desire for this life. What are they? Basically, the understanding of life and fortune, which is very rare. Secondly is the understanding of the impermanence of this life, which is the death meditation. And then list the 8 worldly thoughts. Happy when we have things, unhappy when we don't. Happy when we feel good, unhappy when we don't. Happy when we are famous, unhappy when we are not. Happy when we are praised and unhappy when we are not. All right? So these are the 8 worldly thoughts. With that, we end class 5. So let's have a 5 minutes break before we continue with class 6. Thank you.